The product I decided to review is a web-based program called Reading Kingdom. And there it is. Just to lay out some markers here, this program is designed for children ages 4 to 10. It can take kids up to a third grade reading level. So if you've got that, 8, 9, or 10-year-old, those would be students that have not achieved a third grade reading level yet. So it certainly is not for everyone. So if you've got a 10-year-old who's on grade level, this is not the program for them. What I like too about the program, just to lay out some markers, is that some parents can be very ambitious on behalf of their children, and you can teach a child to read who is as young as 4. Now maybe some children are 3 and perhaps maybe some parents think that they're ready to do this, but I like that it says, is your child ready? Here are some things that a parent or a preschool teacher can look at to decide whether or not this program is right for that particular student. So I like that they did that. So again, ages 4 to 10, but the program takes you up to a third grade reading level. The program is based on the research of Dr. Marion Blank, and she uses the 6-skill, here it is, the 6-skill integrated method. And one of the things that I liked about the program is that throughout the 6-skill program, there's an emphasis on meaning, that you don't take these skills in isolation, and when kids are reading something, it should have meaning for them. We read, the purpose of reading is to inform ourselves or to be entertained, and sometimes those phonics only programs don't really have the most engaging content. So that was a big seller for me. The ideas behind it, and I'll just get right here. The way you start is that your child or children in your classroom would take a pre-assessment. And I'll talk about that, but I just want to note that kids aren't going to spend time on, working on a skill they've already achieved. Your child gets placed where they should be, so there's that important pre-test, and then kids get assessed throughout. So I think that's really important. So it's a very, efficient use of a child's time. It's recommended that children spend at least 4 days a week, 2 sessions a day. And those sessions are designed, the lessons are designed for children in this age group to be able to complete them at one sitting. So it seems pretty manageable. So here are the 6 skills. I think that's important to cover. And again, they're integrated throughout the lessons. But what I found interesting, I mocked up a student account, and I took the first assessment. And the focus there initially was on sequencing. And I made some errors that I thought maybe a young child might make. I got some things right, I got some things wrong. But the idea behind sequencing is, can the child see letters in a word, know to read left to right, and know that it matters what order the letters are in, right? Because a different letter order could end up being a different word or something nonsensical. So that was the first skill tested, along with some motor skills. And here, motor skills or writing using a keyboard is emphasized. In my assessment, I refer to it as writing because in her program, she refers to this as writing. The idea that kids will use a keyboard and learn to use a keyboard. So both sequencing and and the use of a keyboard was really the emphasis of that first assessment. And what I liked about it was that when I got something wrong, a keyboard would pop up and it would show me where to find the letters. So there's this kids learn some keyboarding skills. Not that they're going to be able to type without looking, but they learn how to use a shift key in this program and how to do this. And so that's why I think this is not a complete curriculum. I think it would be something that a teacher could add to their curriculum or something that parents can use at home. And I'll show you, before I go on to sounds, meaning, grammar, and comprehension, what happened after I took this as sort of a made-up student, and there I am as the parent, right? And it said, today Skip, that was the made-up student's name, he should start the program in seeing sequences, and it tells me if, as a parent, do I want to learn more about sequencing, and I can click there and find out. As a parent, I'm back there, and you can see the skills survey, skills. There's some information on sequencing. Okay, so, and I also say the page was engaging. There were lots of sounds when I got things right. It wasn't terrible when I got something wrong. The little X would pop up and it would prompt me to how to put things in order. So I think kids would see some fun characters even in the assessments. And then once you move on from that, then the lessons start to be presented as books. So motor skills, I already said, is based on, keyboarding, and the idea that when kids write out a word, type in this case, that they are more likely to remember it as opposed to just reading a word. So that's important. So the next thing is sounds, and this is where we get to some phonics, and they use orthographic phonics here. And we see a lot, of blending letters. That's what you get in phonics, right? In the phonics only. And I guess that's the point of this marketing material here, is to say, look, we do all these things, we integrate it, it's a much better use of your and your child's time. Or as a teacher, I think, again, this could be in a center as something that a teacher can use, a reading specialist can use. For grammar, one of the things that was emphasized in grammar is that there are about 100 words that if we could get kids to know where they belong, right? These non-content words make up about 60% of written language. And so if kids can master those, then teaching grammar becomes much easier. They're not going to be spending as much energy on decoding every word they encounter. Meaning again is emphasized throughout. So meaning is always going to matter in this program. And then for comprehension, they do what they call intensive word teaching. Any new word that's being taught to the student will be taught 4 different ways. Spelling, pronunciation, meaning, and usage and content. So they're going to get multiple meaningful exposures to that word so that they can master it. So I like the program. It's I found, and I'll say, if you end up coming to the website, there are even a lot of resources. You can see that you can go and look at some of the sample lessons. They also do a lot of nice things for offline, book recommendations for kids, apps for kids, reading games, other things. Some like worksheets that are fun and engaging, that use some of the same characters. So there's also, I thought was interesting, as someone who works in a school, and we know that sometimes things go offline, they do have print versions of the materials as well.